Welcome to the next lecture in elementary statistics using ALEKS. Today we're going to look at chapter 1.2, types of data. Again, you can pause here if you want to read through the different objectives or learning objectives for this specific chapter. So we're going to talk about statistics. When we're talking about statistics, we need to talk about data sets, and this can be really important. From a career perspective, for many of you, you may be taking this course because of requirements, but data analytics is a huge career opportunity now. Every company is using data analysts, whether they're analyzing customers, etc. They may not be actually doing their own statistical reports, but they may be analyzing data from other statistical studies. So first, let's look at the structure of a data set. Information is collected on individuals. These are the people, the sample or the population that you've identified to answer your question. The characteristics of the individuals about which we collect information are called variables. This could be quantitative information such as gender. It could be, I think I said that backwards. This could be quantitative information such as age or numerical data, or qualitative data such as gender. The values of the variables that we obtain are then called the data. This is the actual responses we get from the individuals in the study. And the total information here, the individuals, variables, data, this is called the data set. And here, this is from, it is now January 2025, and I pulled this up as I was building these slides. The average salary for a data analyst in the United States is approximately $75,000 per year. And the majority of these jobs are location independent, meaning that you can work from home, etc. Again, this is a very highly sought after job. There's lots of openings, and you can often start this job even without a college degree if you get certain certifications, which can be obtained pretty rapidly. Qualitative and quantitative variables. Qualitative variables are those that just classify individuals into categories. Quantitative variables also categorize people, or the individuals, whatever you're studying. It may not be people at all. It could be animals, it could be a virus, etc. But these are numerical in nature. They tell how much or how many. So, and quite intuitive here. Quantitative is a numerical value. Qualitative is a non-numerical value. Here's another one of those pause opportunities. You can go through and read this and just label each of these as qualitative and quantitative. Again, it's a pretty straightforward exercise, but these things are good for you to, sometimes we go, oh yeah, I didn't see that like that. So hit pause, try these, and then hit play again. All of these exercises are taken directly from your textbook, so you can see them there as well. Again, we have another little pause here. Ooh, and I guess that pause wasn't very long. Again, I'm not going to go through these. I think they're quite apparent. Again, you can use your text if these are confusing to you. Qualitative variables can then be further divided down into either ordinal variables or nominal variables. Okay, ordinal variables have some kind of natural ordering. Something about their order makes sense. And you can even see the word in their order, in the word ordinal. So that's how I kind of remember it. Nominal variables don't have any kind of natural ordering. Putting them, there's not like an agreeable, like, oh, we'd put this first and that less, or that this one's greater than that one. And so this is what this is talking about. Ordinal variables have some kind of order that's agreed by us collectively, and nominal variables do not. So, for example, the state of residence, yeah, I guess if you live in Texas, you'd say Texas is number one, but of course that's kind of a joke. So states do not have any kind of order that they come, so this would be nominal. Again, you can hit pause here and try these. Gender, again, you could have opinions about gender, which is more important, which is higher paid, etc. But that's a specific question relating to it and not to the variable itself. So gender is also nominal. A letter grade in a class. Now this is generally agreed that these are in a certain order, and I know that everyone in here listening now knows, they don't want the grade on the right, they want the grade on the left. So there is some natural order to a letter grade in a class, that A is higher than B, and so this is an ordinal variable. The size of a soft drink ordered at a fast food restaurant, this would be large, medium, small, etc. Again, you understand that a large drink has more in it than a small drink, etc. So there is some kind of order in here, and so this is also an ordinal variable. Man, I put those things in there going really fast. Sorry about that. I'm not going to read through these. You can read through these again. If you need to, you can go and check your book, because these examples are directly from the book. Quantitative variables can also be divided into two different types. The first is discrete, and this is where there's a finite number of variables. And what I mean by that, if I said, what is your age in years? You're going to say one, well, I'm probably not going to say one, 15, 16, 17, 22, 38, 52. These are finite numbers, okay? And that's what it's meant by discrete variables. There's a specific number, etc. Continuous variables, I could ask that same question, what is your age? And the response could be a continuous variable. What do I mean by that? I could say, oh, I'm 49 years old, 2 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, 4 hours, 6 seconds. Like I could keep going on and dividing it into smaller. You might think of continuous variables as decimals with no limit on the decimal place. And so that's what continuous variables are. There's like an infinite range of responses that I could possibly give you. And it may not really be infinite, but it's, just as I said with the age, it goes quite far when I go down to seconds, etc. There's a lot of values there. And so we kind of think of that as infinite. And certainly there would be probably millions of options if we looked at, children to adults. So here again, we have a pause. I'm going to let you answer these. I think the answers hopefully will be straightforward. And again, if you need more help, go into your book. So quickly, just hit pause, answer these 4 questions. It's basically a true or false, discrete or continuous, and then move on. All right. There's another distinguish or category we can use for quantitative variables too, and that we can call these as either having a ratio, level of measurement, or an interval excuse me, level of measurement. Okay, ratio level of measurement. And the easiest way to do this is, first of all, you can see that the last letter in ratio is O, or you might think of it as a 0. And so in ratio level of measurement, 0, whatever you're measuring, whatever that variable is, 0 would mean that there is none of that variable. Okay, so 0 has a meaning. So ratio level of measurement, 0 has a meaning. And because of that, ratios are meaningful. In an interval level of measurement, and this may be a little confusing, the examples will help that we're going to look at next. In an interval level of measurement, 0 does not mean the absence of the quantity, and so it really doesn't. 0 doesn't have a lot of meaning there in the sense of a measurement, and therefore ratios are not meaningful. Differences are meaningful, however, between those two. And again, we're looking at numbers here. Remember, this is quantitative data, so it's some kind of numerical information, but 0 does not mean the absence of the quantity of whatever variable we're measuring. So remember, ratio has the 0 in it, and 0 has means that none of that quantity. That's a good way to remember it. So the number of siblings a person has. Again, I'm going to do this first one. Your question is, would 0 mean no siblings? That is correct, so this would be ratio. Go ahead and hit pause and try to answer the rest of these. I'm going to walk through them. The outdoor temperature in centigrade, 0 means no temperature. No, that's not correct. There's still a temperature, so this would be interval. The year of the next presidential election, 0 would have no meaning here, so this would be interval. The price of a pair of shoes, if it's 0, if the price is 0, we know that they're free, so it does have meaning, and that's a ratio. Notice here the ratio too. In the second one, $100 price, we recognize that is twice as expensive as 50, and so ratios, they have more of a the ratio matters as well. Okay. When you look at the year of the next presidential election, which would be 2028, we could say, the 0 has no meaning, but if we compare 2028 to possibly 2036, we could see the difference between them. We'd say, oh, that's 8 years between them. So there's some meaning in the difference, and that's what that was talking about. Okay. So this is a relatively short chapter, mostly focused on vocabulary and understanding variables and data sets. And so this is the information you need to know.